Warm welcome to a special episode again for SparkLab Podcast, hosted by SSSIHL-IIC Institutions Innovation Council IIC. My name is Ravikant, and I have a special guest today. Is Anand Kannan. Great to have you, Anand. How are you doing today?
Great, thank you.
Excellent.
Good afternoon to all of you.
Thank you, Anand. So Anand is National Director for Inventions and Innovations, IFIA, International Federation of Inventors Association. He's an innovation evangelist and a startup mentor. So Anand, couple of questions I have, but I think before we actually going there, I just wanted to capture your journey of SparkLab 1.0. Now, there's been a lot of work happening before day one of training, and I'm pretty sure you're actually involved in it. So can you actually walk us through in terms of the kind of activity that you were involved in before the training actually started off, and what actually happened during the training, and insights on a bit of mentoring, and then we'll also look at 2.0 later on.
Okay, now as far as my journey started, on the training part, I don't think I was there for most of the training part. But yes, as far as the mentoring session started, I have been part of the mentoring session right from day one. I think I had two mentees who I have been mentoring, and it was a nice journey. And it was good to see that they were also very exploratory in nature, and they try to figure out what kind of problem they were trying to solve, and what kind of solutions they were trying to bring to the society which could make an impact. And good that they also pivoted somewhere in the journey and figured out, okay, this is what will work with us. And it was really nice interacting with them and understanding the kind of pain points they were trying to solve. So overall, I feel that the thought processes that are coming out of at least the mentees that we have been managing is really good, that they are trying to address some core problems of the society and trying to solve one small step at a time, and trying to see how that whole thing can be scaled up over a period of time. So it's been nice, and I really wish that the solutions which they are trying to build really does a good job, and they also get the fruits of the work that they are trying to do, and wish for his blessings and all, so that things can really take it up from there.
Absolutely, Anand. Thank you. I know you've been involved in a lot of incubation centers across, and as a startup coach and mentor, you deal with a lot of such ventures as such, and you guide them. Can you compare in terms of how it actually happens outside? In terms of, do you really have a training program and also a mentoring program outside in the incubation centers, or can you compare that with what we have actually done at 1.0 of Spark?
See, normally the mentors training program is a completely different set of program. So the mentors training program is where we, as mentors, we are coached on how we should deal with an idea, how we should actually take the startup who come to us with a problem solution, helping them identify whether the problem is an actual problem or a perceived problem. So there are so many things that goes through as a mentor, that we have to help the startup to first understand what their journey is going to be. So not every center that we handle have it, but in many of the places, we are the people who go and start the entire thing. We provide the training to the CEO of the startup, the incubation center, on what they have to do to identify the kind of startups their team. I mean, the CEO and his team is where we provide the training to them. We handhold them for a period of 1 year and explain to them how things have to go. And it is in live. We don't have a re-recording option out there. Technically, there is no re-recording. There is a startup, there is thing. But yeah, before the startup comes in, we do have a set of training program for the team which is going to manage the incubation center. And once the startups are all in, it's a live process. So we try to sit with the startup, identify how things are going, what kind of startups can be onboarded. Because many a times we may get 100 startups, 100 people who want to create a startup because of the buzz that is going around the word startup. But the thing is that when they actually come in, we figure out that out of those 100, it might, end of the day, we might land up with having about 20 of them.
Wow.
And by the time the 1 year ends, the 20 may say, you will actually land up seeing only 8 or 10 who are actually doing. And by the time we complete the 3 year journey, that might even come to 5.
Oh my goodness. So 1/10 of
So
the
yes,
guys are
of course,
gone.
because
Right.
and because as student startups, again, what happens is that
Mhm.
the initial phase about the startup starts off, and they realize that entrepreneurship is not something which is like what they see somebody going in a Merc or an BMW, and the journey is not the way it is. It is a tough journey. I mean,
Absolutely.
many of them leave it halfway and again go back to that same world of 20K, 30K wala dunya.
No, absolutely, absolutely, Anand. Uh,
So
you know, one of the themes that we normally have as part of the questioning is bridging innovation across spiritual, social, and commercial domains. Now, here is where one of the questions is around startups today chase funding and valuation as primary success metrics, and how does the innovation ecosystem at the universities, Sri Institute of Higher Learning and IIC, reframe success around purpose and service without losing the entrepreneurial rigor, according to you?
okay, now what I feel is that startups should not go behind that valuation game. The valuation game is a dirty business. I mean, not at the stage that they should be in. The stage where they should really now focus in the start of their journey is what is the core problem? What is the solution that can address that problem and which can bring impact to a larger society? Now, if that is done, you are automatically having a market which is ready to absorb your solution and utilize it. You don't go the other way around, creating a solution, then hunting for a problem. मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम स्टार्टअप्स मेरे दिमाग में ये आ गया है, अब मैं ये बनाऊंगा. ठीक है, तुम बनाओगे, लेकिन लेने वाला कौन है? सो आफ्टरवर्ड्स द जर्नी स्टार्ट्स. अच्छा, ये लेगा. अच्छा, मार्केट में ये भी प्रॉब्लम है. अच्छा, ये प्रॉब्लम तो है ही नहीं. एंड सडन रियलाइजेशन, दे कम अप विथ वन सडन औरा. ओ नहीं, ये तो ये प्रॉब्लम था ही नहीं. We have created a solution where there is no problem at all, and there are no takers for such a problem. So that is where the whole thing comes in. Identify the problem, define create a solution which can solve that problem. You have a customer. If you are really going to create a solution and then create a problem, you have to have deep pockets.
Yeah.
You have to be one crazy guy who is already doing something in the Middle Eastern part. You have to think like him and start doing things. Then you know how you are going to handle it. So it's a chaos. But if you have the power to do that chaos, take it. But if you don't, then rather focus on identifying a core problem, which is a plaguing problem. Build a solution which can solve that problem. Adapters will be easily be available. So I think that is where I think we should really focus. And let's take the best example of Swami. The core problem that he tried to address in the initial part of his life was water. People did not have water in the Anantapur district. He solved that core problem of getting them the water supply from, and today we are in water surplus place. We have decent, good supply of water. So what did he do? He solved the problem, which was good for the people. पीने के लिए पानी चाहिए.
Yeah.
That's it. Take the example there. Find out this is the core thing he solved, and that's where people throng to meet him because he solved not only the problem there. During the water crisis of Tamil Nadu, he actually sent containers, goods train full of waters which went to Chennai. So, able to solve that kind of a problem, that is where we need to find out what is the core pain. Come up with a solution which can solve that core pain.
Absolutely.
You're done. You have a market.
Absolutely. So a couple of thoughts, Anand, when you were talking about it, I actually felt, and this question is, I'm asking all the mentors as such, because 1.0 is pretty close to getting done. That's last week. For the planning phase of 2.0, I actually want to trickle your brain. What you just said in terms of how to really identify the problem, and that's actually where the ideation actually begins. Instead of coming up with a solution and trying to come up with a problem with that. Do you think, when we actually do the selection with respect to uh, uh, the problem identification phase, that is where we have to ensure that we need to come up with a guideline saying that, okay, these are the guidelines that we need to look at before we select a person as a founder for the next 2.0. Secondly, the other question is, no, mentors are from different backgrounds. Each comes from, they've got their own experience. But do we need to have a standardized way of dealing with things as such? So maybe a training session with someone like you, actually telling them that these are the things which we need to really take care. Else, it's up to each of the mentor to mentor the way they actually want to. So what are your thoughts around these two?
See, as a mentor, now again, what is our focus? We are talking as a incubator. An incubator can survive only if there is a startup, and that startup has to really be coming up with solutions which are required for the society. Not that every solution has to be disruptive, not required. Solutions can also be something which is existing in the market and which can be bettered.
Yeah.
That is also a solution. So we have to identify if a startup or somebody is coming to pitch with his idea. The best way is to find out what is he trying to address. Okay, if he's talking Greek and Latin, let us tell him, please talk Indian.
Yeah.
And let's talk what is required for this thing. And we have to define as an incubator what is our core focus. What areas are we going to focus on?
Yeah.
Either are we generic? Are we going to focus on healthcare? Are we going to focus on AI? Are we going to focus on IoT? Are we going to focus on a generic incubator, which includes anybody and everybody? That is something that we have to first define.
Okay.
Once we have defined as an incubator that this is what I am, then we know what kind of startups we want in our place. If we cannot provide a platform to that startup for working his solution or bettering his solution, where he can test it, he can have an audience with whom he can work with and better it, and that is the only way he can scale up that journey. If we are not able to provide that, let's not even touch it.
Right.
Let's touch zones where we know we have access to that specific solution that startup is building, where he can experiment, where we have the place and the kind of people who can better it out for that startup. Let's talk out with those kind of startups. I think that's the way we should really define ourselves and see how we should take it up.
Absolutely, Anand. That's a lot, really. Coming back to the mindset game, the entrepreneurial mindset for the founders in a value-based university. In your experience, what are the early behavioral habits that founders actually need to build if they aspire to balance spiritual grounding with future entrepreneurial leadership as such?
See, as future entrepreneurs, values is something which is very important. I think the place where we are setting up this entire thing is centered around that same culture of values. So, in business, the thing that changes your mind is money.
Yeah.
When money comes, your mindset changes. If you are grounded the same way, the time when you have the money and when you don't have the money is what will define you.
Right.
Because startups, when they see a 10 crore check in their account, their entire mind goes on a 360-degree spin if they are not grounded, or if they don't understand that what purpose have I raised this money for. There are startups who collect this money, go on vacation to Singapore or to Europe, or buy a car or buy a house with that money. They don't put in that money into the purpose for which it was raised. And once the money is into your account, the funder has no control on you.
Yeah.
So it is very important. Ethics is core for any business. You have to, one is grounded, second is ethics, third is how good you're treating your own team. Because the way you're going to treat your team is the way you're going to treat your customer.
Right.
You first treat your own team as your customer. You make sure that they are happy. Then you know how they will make their customers happy. Your customers will be happy only because you're not going to talk to your customer every day. That's the team which is going to talk. So if you can ensure that your team is happy. They know how to make the customers happy. So
Absolutely.
very important thing is being grounded, being ethical, being having that empathy towards your own team, so that your team reflects that empathy back to the community. Example again, Swami. He was empathetic. That is the reason, even after years of Swami passing away, we still are part of that entire ecosystem, because he showcased empathy.
Yeah.
Reflect it back, bring it to your startup, bring it to the teachings of what has been given, bring it back and use it.
Very well said over there. And finally, just one question, Anand. This is basically on the rural sustainable innovation from the Sai ecosystem. And so do you actually believe that IIC and SparkLab could become incubation models that inspire similar values-led rural entrepreneurship or entrepreneurship as such across India as part of nation building?
Can you come back again, please? I lost you in the middle.
So typically, do you believe that IIC and SparkLab could become incubation models that inspire values-led entrepreneurship across India as part of nation building?
Well, I think this is our stepping stone towards what we are creating. And if we can bring that kind of an value-based startup ecosystem, which is ensuring that each of the startup that is created out of this ecosystem focuses on engaging with the problems of the community, engages itself with and providing that kind of values to their business that they are going to deal with.
Right.
This will set a very big example in the way the startup ecosystem, and that too coming from an tier 3 place. I think we are not in the Bangalore's or the Hyderabad's. It's in and play in from Puttaparthi. If it is going to create a chain of startups which are going to work on these areas, of course, it will be a game changer as a rural incubator, which is creating this kind of an ecosystem, which is talking technology, which is talking high-end technologies which are being there, and how those technologies are being a game changer for the communities, not only in the rural areas, but also if it can impact the world, it will be written in capital words.
Absolutely. I mean, you have actually observed the entire training piece. You observed other mentors as such. Any kind of inputs, insights, and feedback in terms of how we can do better for 2.0?
Honestly, I had a chance to see only a couple of sessions, Ravikantji. I could not sit for most of the sessions, so it would not be right on my part to bluntly comment that this was great, that was great. No. I mean, since I have not witnessed most of the sessions, so I will restrain myself from saying that. But whatever session I did see was worthwhile, and it was really good. And I think there is always a scope of improvement in anything that we do. It can always be bettered in one way or the other.
Absolutely.
So I think betterment is whether even if it was an excellent, we should still try to see what is above that excellent level that we can really aim for. So I think any which ways any program which we conduct has to have an option that there is an under if even in the excellent, what could be and much more innovative approach that we could take in this to ensure that the experience. So excellent could be in different domains, in different pockets. It could be an excellent way that everybody came on time. That is one level of excellence. There is an excellence in the way the program is conducted. That is one way of excellence. The third excellence is how was the experience? What was the experience of each of the people who participated in that? So we may have excelled in one part, but there will be 3 other portions where we are just good or average. So we always have a scope.
What I love is the ecosystem at Parthi, Anand. The thing is, not some of you guys are new. I mean, we actually never knew each other. But the way we actually connect and we have the same kind of mentee and we balance it in such a way that I understand where you're coming from, and basis that if I have to advise the same kind of mentee or a one-to-one, I keep your inputs in mind. I think that kind of understanding is something which I really thought was very, very beautiful across everyone as such. And I kept attending a lot of sessions because I had the time. Also in the evening is the time that I can attend the session. And the way it was structured, because I come from an L&D background, almost 25 years of L&D background. I really love the way they structured it. And Sudha was actually telling the other day that they had a lot of brainstorming in terms of it got all the experts involved. I think from a curriculum standpoint, it literally stands out very well. And I think you pinpointed one aspect of discipline. So everyone joins on time,
Yeah.
most of the time. And that kind of discipline is there. And they come from the Sai organization. All of them come from the Sai organization,
Yeah.
maybe from Bal Vikas or Sevadal background as such. So I think that discipline aspect is something which is standing out very, very obviously in this particular 1.0. I think we need to definitely continue that aspect. And as you rightly said, there are other elements where we're not yet there, but we will actually get there. Continuous improvement, as we keep saying, is iterative. So as we trade from 1.0 to 2.0, I guess we're going to take that quality journey as such. So I think thanks a lot, Anand, for your time and a lot of insights you actually shared for 1.0 team to take some of your hints and tips forward. Great speaking to you. I think we'll connect again with another topic.
Sure. Okay. Thank you.
Sorry.
Thank you.